Alright, looks like it's just gonna be me and you, Phil. Let's get this started. Let me also get this recording going. Okay, should be able to see my screen. Yep. Alright, this is just gonna be a really quick thing. Alright, this is just something that I do, um, on Sunday. Just a quick review of where we're sitting at, what last week's watch list was, how it played out, and then we'll be looking for um, going into the week today. So first things first, I always start off with the larger time frames. So I'm gonna head into the weekly and even maybe the monthly as well, but not really too much for me going on for the monthly. We're just gonna head straight to the weekly here. Last week's watch list, we were keeping an eye out for more upside going into the week. I don't know if you remember, you might have watched Sunday's watch list for last week, but we're looking for a push up into this 560 level, which was going to be a tap into this upper trend line, and we wanted us to close here and reject it, right? And we wanted us to, kind of continue to follow this higher high and higher low structure that we're kind of sitting in right now. So overall, this setup actually is still in play. Still looks really good, right? And the reason I say that is because look at how we closed, right? We actually ended up trying to wick above there, going into that 563 level, and then we ended up closing right back below pretty much perfectly at that 560, right? That 560 level was going to be that area to watch because it was off, that upward trend line. Okay, so overall, this is still in play, but I do want to take a look at some other names before I kind of give an overall thesis for where I'm going to be looking for the upcoming week. Um, but daily time frame as well, yeah, still pretty nice here. Like I said, that daily close or even weekly close below that um, 560, and we could see here as well. Actually, looks like we closed right below VWAP. Looks like we are under VWAP, so that is going to be something interesting to see right here. Let's take a look at Qs. Qs pretty much should be the same exact structure as SPY, as we were looking for pretty much the same exact thing. We were looking for this trend line to kind of follow this higher low, come into play. However, instead of that 560 upper trend line tap that we're looking at for Qs, or for SPY, sorry, we're keeping an eye out on this 500 psychological level on QQQ. So this was our target for last week. And as you can see, played out pretty much perfectly. We ended up popping up into this 500 level, even gave a little bit more room up here, and we actually ended up um, projecting there a little bit. And we did close below 500, which I really like right there. So what I would like to see now, right, I would like to also see the structure, continue to hold until this structure gets broken. So I want us to back test probably this 480 level, 486, 485, or even low 480, 480 flat. This would be a really nice rebalance right there. But before I get into that, I want to take a look at some of the individuals. But yeah, like I said, overall, pretty much the same exact structure as SPY there. But let's take a look at some individuals now because this is going to be my main guide for the week. Apple on the weekly here still looks pretty good here. I don't really see any signs of resistance coming in just yet. We did end up closing, and we ended up holding above 430, so that's going to be next kind of psych level right there. However, it looks like we do have some imbalances to fill slightly below us. And I actually really like this flag setup right here. If you take a look here, we had this previous almost flagging structure right here. It's kind of ugly actually, but I think it'll still work. A little bit ugly, but it does the job. I think if we get back below this 226 level, below 226, I think I like us back down to this 217. Get a back test of this flag right here that we initially broke out of. So yeah, below 226 on spot on Apple. I like this down to fill this imbalance right here, and also get a tap back into this high right here. So that's what I'll be watching for that. Otherwise, if we continue to backtest and hold this 226, probably will look for even higher. However, I do like how we have um, a lower high come in here, right? We created a high right here, lower high, and a lower high candle close right there. So I do like that. I would like to see the structure actually continue, and I wouldn't even be surprised if we got another back test of the 226 to potentially get a little bit of a flagging structure up here. And once that flagging structure finishes, that's when we'll either see that break above or that break below. Like I said, I think definitely below this 226 level, we have quite a bit of room down. So that'll be something to watch for. Take a look at Microsoft. Okay. Microsoft here definitely did have a little bit of a worse week. We could definitely see that for sure. Um, we didn't quite tap that 470 level, which would be that psych level up above. So we actually end up rejecting that and get a little bit of a pullback down. One spot that I do like is going to be this level right here, probably down to 427 on Microsoft. And we also do see we do have a little bit of an imbalance that we do also need to fill down below. So I actually would like to see a backtest of that and for us to actually fill that move right there. So that would be really nice. And that would be also a tap into the psych level 430 as we would also like to see some individuals cool off as we have been, kind of popping up for quite a bit. So that is something I probably will be keeping an eye on. And yeah, I mean, if we actually take a look here as well, from this almost flagging structure here on Microsoft, I believe the end of the duplicated flagpole, it should be roughly about where we're sitting at right now, roughly this mid 460 region. So yeah, this is where we should expect to see some cooling off if we're, playing this duplicated flagpole method. So that's interesting to see. And that's going to be that for Microsoft. Google here. Take a look. Okay, Google here. Really, really nice structure here as well. Yeah, so this is actually playing out a lot better. Because I know when we were looking at a lot of these individuals last week, right, we didn't really have too much coming in from them. Uh, but now with how we end up closing this week, it actually looks really, really good in my opinion. That we're seeing some rejection at these highs, as this could be sign for a potential reversal or minor correction, um, just to rebound some of those moves as we've been pulling up pretty high recently. So we can see that Google here, we were in a little bit of a wedge here, as you can see, and we tried to get this push above this 190, but we actually failed. And then now we're looking like we're getting a bit of a backtest of this 185 here. So this is going to be a psych level. However, I do like this little zone right here down to 175 or 176 area. So this is going to be also another nice spot for me down there as a potential backtest for that name. So maybe something like that. Could look to see on Google. Pretty simple overall. Let's take a look at the daily. Yeah. So on the daily here, we do have, yeah, we have a really nice imbalance FVG to fill down below us, which would be pretty much at that exact spot that I was just looking at. Yeah, so down to about this 177, and then we could even expect to see a little bit of slippage back below it, down to 175, as we can see. We've been stalling around this area as well, so I definitely would like to see that for sure. But one thing we would have to keep an eye out on is if we do get this 185 break below 185, that would probably be my break of structure right there, as this would be invalidating this lower trend line here. Actually, no, it wouldn't. 182, sorry. 182 would be that break of structure, which would, be the break of that higher low on Google there. So yeah, I think I like Google down to this 182. So we have about another $3 drop in my opinion. And I would look to see if we end up stalling here, right? If we end up stalling here, we could definitely bounce here. Otherwise, below 182, I think for me it's a straight shot down to that 177 to 175 region. And yeah, I think that's that. And then keep in mind, I am just doing strictly technical analysis for now, and then I will go into the economic calendar right after this. So here we are with Nvidia now. This is going to be the biggest name that we've been keeping an eye out on. And if you guys remember last week, we had a really, really, really nice structure on Nvidia, right? We were watching that daily and 4-hour structure. So the structure last week that we were watching on Nvidia was going to be this range break, right? I was looking for the break above 130 for a retracement to potential highs here. Um, but one trade that we actually ended up taking on Thursday was a fib trade off of Nvidia there. So we drew fib from this high into this low, and then we ended up tapping into pretty much perfectly at the 78.6 right here, right at 135, and that's when we shorted as well, and we caught a pretty nice move from there. Um, but so far, as you can see, it looked like it was a bit of a failed breakout, as looks like we were kind of just sweeping liquidity right here, right? Kind of had this consolidation, attempted to push above, and we got immediately sold off. So what's happening right now? Well, on this daily time frame, right, we ended up getting a recapture back below VWAP, and we also got a recapture back below this kind of support here, right? We were using this level of support, then turned to resistance, and then we actually ended up popping back up, and then we now actually ended up losing that again. So now we're back into this range. So we definitely could expect to see a test of this 125 for me, and then I think below this 125, this would invalidate that higher low structure. So below 125, we definitely do have quite a bit of room down to probably like 114 for me, and that's going to be off that daily. And then if we actually look at the weekly, how we closed. We look, yeah, we have a bit of a inverted hammer close, so a down close candle on the weekly. It's not red, however, we definitely can see that there is some, selling pressure coming in at these levels here, especially, with our previous high tap at 140. We see that we did get immediately sold off there, so I'll definitely be keeping an eye out on this name as well coming into the week. Um, but overall, definitely compared to last week, right? Last week, we really didn't have any structure on many of these names. The only structure we had last week was going to be based off NVIDIA, and NVIDIA moves perfectly. But, going into this week, looks like we have a lot, a lot better structure on more of the individuals, and a lot of them are actually matching in terms of, the TA that I'm giving here, right? A lot of them, in my opinion, look good for, some potential downside, especially now that we've hit my targets on QQQ, right? My overall targets for QQQ was going to be this 500 cycle level, right? This 500 cycle level is going to be a pretty big level for me. Um, so now that we've actually tapped it, I would like us to stall here a little bit and potentially see some correction down to the 480s, maybe mid 480s or low 480s. And then from there, that could maybe send us up for a bit of a move higher. Um, but yeah, I think going into the week for this week, in terms of just technical analysis, this week for me looks to be more of a bearish week, in my opinion. We have a lot of names that look like they need some cooling off, and especially how we ended up closing on Friday, right? Let's take a look at Friday's close. It was pretty ugly, yeah. Yeah, even Q's on the daily here. Yeah, down close candle on the daily with the close below VWAP. Definitely could look to seek a little bit lower down to this 485 or even 480 level. So that's going to be that for me, I think. Any any questions so far? Does anyone to want me to chart anything or look at anything? You guys could post it in Market Talk if you want. Otherwise, I will continue on here. But yeah, I think that's pretty much that for the TA. So now we're gonna take a look at the economic calendar and see what we have going into the week. So I will change my screen. You guys should be able to see this. Yeah, yeah, you guys can see this. Okay. Yeah, so we have our economic calendar coming in here. Overall, just looking at this, Monday, tomorrow, we have Powell speaking at 12 o'clock. So for me, I'm going to be most likely done trading by 12 or 11:30, but that's going to be a normal for me anyway. So I'm actually not too concerned about Powell speaking tomorrow. Um, and overall, yeah, so we have jobless claims 8:30 on Thursday, building permits, and let's see, inventories at 10 on Tuesday. Yeah, so overall, I mean, it doesn't really look like we have a whole lot going on for the week. So this week should actually be a really nice week to just trade in general. And this would actually perfectly line up with our thesis as, we are expecting a little bit of correction and a little bit of a, just consolidation now that we're actually sitting at this 500 level on QQQ, right? I would expect us to base here a little bit and then, then finally see some movement. Um, we also do have earning season starting to pick up. We do have the financials, I believe, reporting first. So I don't have a picture of it on my computer, but I do have a picture on my phone. Yeah, so we do have financials reporting this week, Monday, Tuesday, yeah, pretty much the whole entire week. We have Bank of America, First Bank, Discover. So, yeah, now that we are starting to come into earning season, we definitely can expect to see Ivy starting to pick up on certain tickers. Although I wouldn't expect anything just yet because it's really just banks reporting right now. I would imagine Apple, all the blue chips or big chip names, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, they should be reporting over the next couple of weeks. So we do still have time, but just keep in mind, we may expect to see some volatility pick up and, Ivy increase as well. But I guess one of the bigger names that we do have reporting this week is going to be Netflix on Thursday after close. So that could be something interesting to watch for. But like I said, I don't think that's really going to have too big of a toll on us just yet until we start getting into more of the bigger names reporting. But yeah, like I said, for this week's calendar, not too much going on here, so it should be a pretty clean week. Um, all the charts look good in my opinion. I think for me, we could see a bit of correction, but we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, right? And we don't want to create a bias for the week, right? This is really just give us an idea of what we could potentially expect, but we do always want to, give what or play what the market gives us, right? But yeah, I do still like this little spot right here on on Q's. So yeah, I think that's it. Like I said, short and simple. Don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. Just a little quick overview of what I'm kind of looking for the week. Obviously, we do need to see where we're going to be opening at tomorrow morning. But yeah, let's see what Philip said. Yeah, definitely could be, right, for that head and shoulders. Yeah, that would actually be really nice actually. Fell off that 182 level. I definitely could see that happening actually. I didn't even realize that. Yeah. Right, that would tap off that lower trend line right there on the daily. Kind of do something like that. Pull down to this 182, come back up, right? And this would be the formation of potential head and shoulders. And then this probably this right shoulder right here. if this right shoulder forms, this would probably be that break of that trend line, which would also send us down to that demand or that imbalance that we have down to 177. I actually like that a lot. This is a really nice name for me. Yeah, yeah, I like that a lot. Cool. Yeah, all right. Anything else from you guys? You guys want me to look at anything at all? Or does this all make sense for what I'm saying here? Any questions at all? Don't think I really see anything. But yeah, I did this is also being recorded, so if you guys do want to look back, I'll post the link for this um in Market Talk, and then yeah, I'll upload it to the Google Drive so you guys could take a look. But besides that, yeah, that's really what I'm looking for the week. Um, yeah, like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time, but yeah, we'll call it here for today. And yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and then I'll catch you guys in the live trading, all right? Take care, guys.